the most important thing, the strategic takeaway from this, is that the Ukrainian town of Lyman, a railway hub in the Donetsk region, in a gain that would help set the stage for the next phase of the Kremlin's offensive in the eastern Donbass. Not only that, that railway hub will allow access into Kiev and across the rest of Ukraine, meaning the Russians will now be able to put their tanks, their equipment, their men on a train and just, rail it out through the rest of the country in the next phase of the war operations. So what we're seeing here, if we look at the frontline balance, we could see that the Russians have, in most regions, they have a significant advantage in terms of the frontline balance of intensity and forces. So this sort of measures both the amount of force being applied and the level of force. So you could see here who has the advantage. The Ukrainians have an advantage in Kharkiv, and you see in the more southern area near Kherson, the Ukrainians have a slight advantage. Otherwise, the Russians have a significant advantage. I think most of their operations are here right now. You could see where they're placing their forces. Ultimately, Dnipro is exactly what they're shooting for. They want to completely surround this area, bring it to a close. So basically, they're both moving towards Dnipro here. Once they have that and they besiege the army and they force them into a surrender, right, then they can move their forces through Kiev and through the rest of the country through railway. Again, you could see, right, Russian high presence, medium presence is here, low presence is down here. It seems like the Russians are forced. And that makes sense because the Mars-Saturn line goes from right through Kiev, right into these areas here where there is high Russian presence. So this is the strategy. First, to create a corridor from the Donbass to Crimea. So they have achieved that already. The second is to establish solid control over the Donbass, the second most important objective for the Russians. So they're already working to finalize this objective. We could see that. They're making that connection here. And then third, to create a corridor from Crimea to Transnistria or Transnistria. So this objective has not fully been initiated. That would mean the Russians will try to capture Odessa in the near future. So the Russians' plan is to move and capture Odessa, capture this part of Ukraine down here, right? So we could see that they're moving very swiftly in implementing their plan. Once they've sealed off this area, once they've achieved these objectives, then they will begin moving westward to Kiev and to Lviv.
To watch the full presentation and more like this on geopolitics, the economy, and world events from an archetypal and mundane astrological perspective, join the Global Transformation Astrology membership. Go to gta.williamstickevers.com. Become a GTA member today.